Let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're tackling a placement with a seriously notorious reputation in Vedic astrology, Mars in the 7th house. Typically, when people hear that the literal planet of war is sitting right there in the house of marriage, they brace for impact, right? But we're going to completely reframe that today. We're going to look at the deep psychology behind this astrological conflict and discover how what looks like an all-out battle might actually be something kind of beautiful.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really reframe this placement, I want you to hold a super profound question in your mind as we go through the rest of this. And here it is. Is this conflict about anger, or is it a hidden request to be understood? Just think about that for a second. It entirely shifts how we view relationship arguments. It asks us to stop looking at the loud, surface-level friction and actually start listening to what is being asked.
So we all know the fundamental forces at play here. The 7th house is our arena of togetherness. We're talking marriage and deep one-to-one partnerships. And Mars? Well, Mars is our drive, our passion, our instinct to fight. So what exactly happens when the planet of action and war occupies the house of commitment? You get a wildly explosive combination. Emotional interactions become highly charged, love feels deeply passionate for sure, but disagreements, they feel equally powerful. In this dynamic, the relationship essentially becomes an arena where both intense affection and intense frustration are just put on full display.
Section 1. Anger as a hidden language. Decoding unmet needs.
When we look at the relationship psychology for the specific placement, conflict isn't always a push-away. It's not necessarily a sign of emotional distance. Actually, for a lot of folks, arguments are a language of unmet needs. A disagreement might seem like it's about something totally trivial on the surface. Like someone forgetting to take out the trash or maybe not answering a text fast enough. But underneath that everyday frustration, there's often a much deeper, way more vulnerable question lurking. Do I matter to you? Mars forces these hidden emotions right up to the surface simply because it completely refuses to stay silent.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core concept in relationship psychology. Anger is very often a secondary emotion. On the surface, it looks like pure frustration and impatience. But if you peel back that fiery Martian exterior, you'll often find sadness, fear, hurt, or just this profound need for reassurance. Someone with this placement might react strongly, not because they don't care, but actually because they care so deeply about the connection. The sheer intensity of their reaction reveals just how important that relationship is to them. The real challenge is figuring out if that conflict is going to build understanding or just build emotional walls.
Section 2. The demand for clarity. The double-edged sword of directness.
Unlike softer planets, say the Moon or Venus, Mars absolutely rejects indirect communication. It doesn't drop hints, doesn't beat around the bush. Mars demands 4 very specific things in a partnership: clarity, movement, solutions, and honesty. In relationships, this actually creates incredible courage. A person with this placement truly appreciates a partner who is strong, confident, and totally willing to face problems head-on. Honestly, if you try to use passive communication or emotional avoidance, like giving them the silent treatment, for example, that is far more frustrating and triggering to this placement than a direct, open disagreement. Mars wants to fix the problem, and it wants to fix it right now.
Now, this directness is definitely a double-edged sword. At its best, it brings constructive honesty, right? It addresses problems openly to keep the relationship strong. But at its worst, it triggers destructive impatience. When emotions rise too quickly, Mars can cause words to become far sharper than intended. Small disagreements can literally escalate into these fierce power struggles where both partners are just fighting to win rather than fighting to understand each other. So the lesson here isn't to just avoid conflict. Mars won't let you do that anyway, but to actually transform it into constructive communication.
Section 3. Cosmic Modifiers. Let's move to and see how this builds, specifically looking at how signs and planets filter that Martian energy.
Because here's the thing, not every Mars expresses conflict in the exact same way. The zodiac sign acts almost like a colored lens, completely changing how that relationship energy gets expressed. Take Aries, for example. If Mars is in Aries in the 7th house, expect extreme directness, a lot of independence, and this fiery desire for raw honesty. But in Taurus, well, they seek deep stability, and they will stubbornly resist change once they're emotionally attached. Gemini turns that frustration into rapid-fire intellectual debates and arguments, and if Mars is in Cancer, the reactions become highly emotional, specifically flaring up whenever that person feels unsafe or unprotected.
And then look at Libra. Libra creates this fascinating internal tension between trying to maintain perfect harmony while also dealing with boiling anger. Meanwhile, Scorpio brings an almost unshakable, fierce emotional attachment and incredibly intense reactions. So as you can see, every Mars fights differently and every Mars seeks recognition in its own unique way.
It's not just the signs, though. Other planets step in to soften or mature this intense energy, too. Jupiter is a beautiful modifier here. It brings the wisdom and patience to actually resolve disagreements gracefully. Venus injects some much-needed warmth, affection, and compromise into the whole dynamic. Mercury helps transform those heated arguments into meaningful, productive conversations. And the Moon? The Moon adds this vital layer of emotional sensitivity and deep awareness to whatever actions Mars takes.
Of course, there are definitely more challenging modifiers to watch out for. Saturn might create restraint, sure, but it can also cause immense frustration through delays or emotional distance. Rahu cranks up the intensity, the desire, and the impulsiveness, making the Mars energy even more explosive. And Ketu might create this weird sense of apathy or detachment right after a major conflict. It is absolutely crucial to remember that no single placement determines relationship success. The complete horoscope, including Mars's overall dignity, other planetary aspects, and that holistic look at the deeper D9 Navamsa chart, that's what reveals the full, nuanced story.
Section 4. Fighting for the relationship. Transforming conflict into connection.
From a Vedic perspective, true Martian strength isn't just about the ability to fight. It's the ability to protect love while expressing difficult emotions honestly. So how do we actually do this? Well, there are 3 steps. Step 1. Acknowledge the emotional wound. Remember, anger is a secondary emotion, so find the sadness or fear underneath it. Step 2. Transform the argument into understanding. You have to stop trying to win the fight and start trying to understand the need that just isn't being met. And step 3. Turn that raw passion into a stronger emotional bond. When handled with awareness, the very frustration that causes the fight can literally lead to incredible relationship growth.
So the crucial point is this beautiful paradox. The goal isn't a relationship without disagreements. The goal is a relationship where even disagreements bring 2 hearts closer. Conflict is not the enemy of love here. Honestly, sometimes conflict is exactly what reveals the things that have been left unspoken. It points a blazing arrow right at the emotional wounds that are just waiting to be acknowledged and healed.
Ultimately, Mars asks you to look in the mirror during your toughest relationship moments and ask yourself this one powerful, provocative question: am I fighting against my partner, or am I fighting for deeper understanding? If you can learn to fight for understanding, that Martian fire won't burn your relationship down. No, it's going to keep it warm for a lifetime.